Welcome to Ward 13, John Hopwood program here. John is in Washington today, and he asked me if I would sit in for him and host a show that's very important to the community. And I said I would be more than happy to do that. Today we have three good people here. Melissa Cruz, who is the chairman of Recovery in Manchester, and Pat Long, Ward 3 Alderman, and John Sweeney, who's on the board of directors of Hope for New Hampshire here. So anyways, Melissa, I want to go around the room and just start this right off. Do your introduction, tell us who you are and how you became involved in this, then Pat Long and John Sweeney, and then we'll get into the real issues that are at point.
All right, thanks, Mike. Thanks for having us. My name is Melissa Cruz, and I like to say I'm a person in long-term recovery. I have been in recovery since 1993, and I became sort of involved in the substance use issues in Manchester as a person in long-term recovery, and in the recovery community I volunteered in the Farnham Center, a treatment center here in Manchester, and I began to see or develop in my own mind ideas that could help Manchester with the drug issues as I saw. And as people began to leave the Farnham Center, and really, if they were lucky enough to find some sort of a 12-step program, that seemed to be the only option for them. And I just started to put the pieces together, and then we could talk about how that, and I started to kind of develop my own ideas, and then I didn't want to go out and start something new. I went on a fact-finding mission to see who was doing what and where people were trying to advance recovery support services in our city and in our state, and that's kind of where I started.
Very good. Pat, Ward 3 Alderman, and also State Rep, who's very involved in this process.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Thanks for having this show. This is very important to the community of Manchester. I've been involved for about a year when Melissa and Dave Dorian asked me to sit in on a meeting. I'm also a person in recovery, and I feel that with the epidemic that we're having today, this Hope for New Hampshire is very appropriate. It's a fourth leg on that four-legged stool. That we don't have, we haven't had a recovery center in the state of New Hampshire, and we currently have the infancy stages of one on Market Street in Manchester. So, I feel it's imperative that this organization get up and running, and it's to a benefit for the city of Manchester.
John, welcome.
Yep, thank you. It's great to be here. My name is John Sweeney, and I'm also a person in long-term recovery since 2000, so it's 15 years. And for me, part of my recovery from substance abuse is to continue to work with people one-on-one. I'm a peer-certified recovery coach, so I work with people that are in the early stages of recovery, and that's something that I plan to do at the new Manchester Recovery Center, is provide that service.
Melissa, we just recently had at the Palace Theater, the Anonymous. Talk to us a little bit about that, and then I'd like you to tell me a little bit about this place on Market Street that you started.
Well, I didn't start. A whole bunch of us are starting it, but when I, to go back to the Farnham Center, when I was there, I came across Springfield College sent me an invitation to see the movie The Anonymous People, and I went to see it a little bit hesitantly because of the name, not so sure what it was about, and I fell in love with the movie, and I saw in the movie the vision, a piece of a solution that I hadn't identified, and that was the stigma attached to substance use issues. And I also saw a recovery center examples in the movie, in the film, that I thought, that is where I got sober. That's what helped me stay sober. In Atlanta, there are a lot of, they call them clubhouses, recovery clubhouses, and I often wondered, since I moved here 10 years ago, I wondered why Manchester, the largest city in New Hampshire, didn't have something like this. I went to their Dairy Friendship Center. I have visited there, and what I realize is I know that clubhouses help thousands of people. The Dairy Friendship Center helps thousands or hundreds of people a year, but the data surrounding that is not available because they're members of 12-step communities that don't speak about getting well. So I don't know, to bring it all together, I saw in the movie a language training that showed me a new way to speak about my recovery and not the programs that I'm affiliated with, in a way that will allow these community centers to start collecting the data, the real data that is out there that all of us in recovery know exist. We know many people, hundreds, thousands of people that actually do recover from this. But our state representatives, our government officials don't know that we exist because we don't talk about it. So we decided to bring the screening to Manchester and different places around the state to help bring that awareness to, just like I had, that awakening that people in recovery can speak about their recovery, thus helping the stigma process and showing that, yes, we have an addiction problem, but there is a solution. There are solutions out there. There's not just one, there are many. And that if we can get more people like us to start speaking about our recovery, then people like you.
Well, I think I think it's very important, and maybe Pat, you can jump in there. You probably know the statistics better than I do. I think it's 120 some people that OD'd last year, and I don't know what the number is this year.
Yeah, well, for December, since December, I know, and this was probably the middle of May, I was told that it's 76 deaths in Manchester since December. So, it's a Manchester problem, and it's not only. It's not only an addiction problem, it's also a community problem. If your car's being broken into, if your home's being broken into, if you have to sweep ball fields or parks for needles, if you're walking down the sidewalk and you see needles on the side, that's a community problem. So what we've done in the past is we've been tough on crime. If you're gonna become an addict, in people's minds, that's your choice to do. I mean, I'll tell you, when I was using, I'm an alcoholic. So when I was drinking out there, I didn't have no choice. Every day I got up, I had to have a drink. Okay, every day I got up, I had to have a drink. The only choices I made is when I chose to do anything I needed to do to stop and get my life back. So June 20th, with the grace of God, it'll be 25 years. So, it's not, the stigma out there has to be relieved. There are very successful people that have gone through this. So it's not, it's not 25 years ago, I never thought in a million years I'd be at this position, But for the grace of God, with putting one foot in front of the other, working on this recovery and becoming successful. So I mean, John has an interesting story, doing this peer to peer, and that's what Hope for New Hampshire is looking to bring on Market Street. That nobody's alone. You get out of rehab, you have an opportunity to get a call from Hope for New Hampshire every day, every week. You have an opportunity to sit with a coach, a recovery coach, somebody who knows where you've been, where you are, and speak to you.
And you might capitalize a little bit on what you just said, but you have a lot of people out there that are comfortable, got a good living, and are not alcoholics or drug addicts, and I don't think there's anybody out there that doesn't know somebody that's an alcoholic. I can't find anybody. I know alcoholics, I know people that are drug addicts, and I'm sure everybody does. But what do you say to those people that say, well, it's not my problem? What do you say?
Well, I mean, first of all, in my opinion, alcohol, drugs, it's all under the same umbrella. You have to identify where it is a problem. If their house got broken into, that's drug related. talk to your police chiefs in your towns and in the city of Manchester. That's drug related. Like I said, sweeping needles off of parks. That's drug related. So you may not have an immediate family affected or an extended family affected, but every day in the city of Manchester, you're affected by this addiction problem. And we have rehabs, not enough. That's another story. We have recovery. We have treatment facilities, not enough. That's another story. But after that, you're on your own. Hopefully you hook up with somebody who's strong enough to carry you along when you need it. And that's a big hope. So this recovery center is an extension of that, where you don't have to be alone from day one getting out of rehabs. You're starting to tweak out. You feel nervous. You got somebody to call. You got somewhere to call, someone to talk to, and someone to help you take that one step at a time.
I want to capitalize on how important that is for that one-on-one. And John, you being a coach, a recovery coach, maybe you can jump in at this time, because I think it's so important. In my own life, I have a personal interest in this, because people go to treatments and people go to services, people go to AA, which is all great. But if you don't have that one-on-one person, the statistics are very high of them either going back the way they were, because it's a lonely world out there on recovery when you first get started. So why don't you capitalize on that?
I just want to make a point with Pat, is that New Hampshire sells a product, alcohol, knowing that 5 to 8% of the population have a problem with that product, and they don't support the treatment and of that. So that's what the alcohol fund should be funding, which for things like recovery support services. So what peer recovery coaching does, and what the benefit is for someone that's coming out of treatment, for example, is one of the challenges with people that come out of treatment is if they go in to a treatment and they initiate recovery there, when they go back to their communities, if they go back to the same environment where drug and alcohol abuse has taken place, and they continue to hang around with the same people that they did before they got to treatment, then it's very likely that they're going to go back and use. So the success rate of people that come purely out of treatment is really pretty low, 4 or 5%, 2-3%. The benefit of someone who can partner with somebody in peer recovery support is, I know what it's like to try and get sober or get clean. So I know what the challenges are. I know what some of the problems are that a person is faced with. So I work with them as a peer to help them get some of the things that they may need to stay sober, whether it's job interview skills, nutritional things, housing. There's a lot of other things that go around with a person that trying to get sober, that problems that they're faced with. It's not just connecting to the recovery community. There could be a host of other things. Maybe they're living in an environment, the people that they're living with are using. So there's a lot of challenges that go in place with someone that's trying to find recovery. And, I'm someone that tries to partner with them and help them with whatever those problems are. So, and it's a free service. I don't charge anything.
That's important. It is free,
Yeah.
And I think that's where Melissa, I think we have a place on Market Street now.
We do.
You want to talk a little bit about that and how important I want to try to get across to everybody that the one-on-one peer is the most important thing. It's not the interview, the jobs and all that all comes later. But if they have nobody to talk to, that's when they go astray.
Right. The community centers, the piece that I see that, they're one piece of this puzzle that we're all trying to figure out, like Pat alluded to, prevention, intervention, treatment, recovery. We're trying to just get our leg of the stool going because we see how beneficial it is. And on Market Street, Families in Transition has given us a small space to use to help us get up and going. And we've received a grant to hire a recovery center manager. And what the manager will do, if I can sort of tell you some of the things that will happen in this space, there's a lot of different types of meetings will happen in this space. We believe in all pathways to recovery, so not just 12-step, but any pathway to recovery will be supported. Our recovery coaches will help you connect with the type of recovery that works for you, because what works for me might not work for you. But they'll help you determine and hopefully try many different types of recovery pathways to help you find the connection. That's one thing that it will do. It will give someone coming out of treatment a safe place to be when they're trying to figure all this out. We will initiate, we've started with one of the treatment centers in the city to start the telephone recovery support. So when you come out of treatment, we will, if you sign up for this voluntarily sign up for this service, we'll call you the day you get out, and we'll continue to call you. The importance of the center is we'll have a space to invite you to further engage. And while you're there, we say, come down to the center and see what it's all about. And while they're there, we'll try to get them to sign up with a recovery coach in a space. And we'll connect them with the recovery coach that they'll continue on for as long as they like. And then the recovery coach may set an appointment with them at 11, and while they're there, they'll say, hey, do you know there's this type of meeting going on at noon? Why don't you check it out? And then they'll continue to allow them to build relationships in the recovery community, feel a part of a community, and while they're coming there for a little while, they may see on our board, we'll have different types of volunteer trainings. Maybe if they don't have somewhere to be every day and they need something to help fill their time, then they'll become part of our community and they'll decide they want to volunteer for us in some way. So they'll go through this little volunteer training, become a Hope for New Hampshire.
There's no food there. There's no.
Well, I can't say we're not going to feed people.
We're not going to feed people.
But if we have
it's not a place to hang out and
sleep,
eat cookies and smoke cigarettes.
Need a reason to be there.
No, right. You'll need a reason to be there. But the goal is to help people move towards feeling good about themselves and building up their self-esteem so that they can, hopefully, we visited many recovery centers, and the goal of all of them is to help people move to the next step of their life.
For the public, how hard is it for somebody coming out of recovery or on a path of recovery? With your experience, can you relate that to the community? How hard is it the first initial weeks and 30 days, or do you feel lonely?
Yeah, you do. I think if you're lucky enough to connect to a community, you're less likely to feel lonely. I think it's different for everyone. Some people, I can only speak from my own personal experience. I had to jump into this clubhouse environment because everyone I live with drank, everyone I worked with drank, all my friends drank like I did.
Did you have to create new friends?
I had to create new friends. That doesn't mean I had to like totally throw away all of mine, but until I could differentiate and be strong enough to be in those environments, I had to make new friends.
And that's important. What do you
it is, Mike. First of all, when you first enter recovery, you are lonely. So you want to belong to something. And Hope for New Hampshire will have a volunteer coordinator to volunteer in Manchester. Manchester has several opportunities for people to volunteer, and the fortunate thing with this is that Manchester has plenty. We got about 5,000 cigarette butts that I walk through. So if we have to get 10 people out there and picking up cigarette butts, let's do that. The community is gonna be bettered by this organization and by
Right.
people in recovery, and they'll feel a sense of belonging. They'll take on Manchester like it's theirs. And that's what we hope to get with all our citizens.
And I think it gives you a sense of purpose of belonging in the community and on the road to recovery. You agree with that, John?
Absolutely. I think for me, I was terrified when I tried to stop, and I knew that I was afraid to ask for help. I was afraid to engage in any with anyone, never mind other people. But when I started to seek out opportunities to find recovery, what I found was this sense of unity, that people were really willing to help me stay sober, and they gave me a real gift of wanting to belong and encouragement, and helped me, took me to meetings, and just this camaraderie that I'll never forget. I really, and so it stayed with me all these years, and I'll be forever grateful for the people that took me under their wing, because that's why I'm here today.
And none of us got here because we're special.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just, we're not special, So this could be, this could be a success for anybody. That's what we're trying to say. I'm not special, so I got this special treatment and got to where I got to be.
Right.
I'm not special. So anybody, no matter how low you're feeling, you can accomplish what any one of us here has accomplished, and basically it's drug and alcohol freedom.
Well, I think it's also it's very important for families because that's the backbone of everything. And what happens with a person is they start losing. They lose their brothers, their sisters, their mothers, their fathers,
and they don't think they'll ever get them back. I think that happens too, that people don't realize, because not enough of us that are in long-term recovery come out and say it, that people don't realize how many of us beat the disease. And so for families, we're here to give them hope that you can overcome this disease.
Get your family member back.
I want to get on. We got about 5 more minutes left, so I want to capitalize on Manchester here. I want to capitalize on how people can get involved. Those people that have the expertise or to help your organization,
Right.
lawyers, doctors, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
How can somebody contact you and let you know that they're willing to assist you in some small ways? No, it's like making a pie. You got to have all ingredients, and you need a lawyer because hey, you're
Yes.
501(c), you're tax deductible. You need an accountant. You need all those types of people. So, how can they contact you directly or somebody?
They can contact us several ways. We have a Hope for New Hampshire website, Facebook page. You can find us there. We have Manchester Recovery Community Center Facebook page. You can contact us through that. We have we have the website. We have the Hope for New Hampshire website that will soon have a link to the Manchester. But if you contact us through www.hopefornhrecovery.org, one of us will get in touch with you. Right now, the areas of we do need some leadership because we really want the city of Manchester to determine what the recovery needs are of this community. We have a vision, and we have a lot of examples that we have a strategic plan, we have a vision, but now we need some help to implement it. Fundraising, we have a strategic plan for fundraising. This is not an expensive endeavor, and that's the piece. The amount of people we will be able to help, even while they're waiting to get into treatment, when they get out of treatment, a very inexpensive way for the recovery community to give back, and for the people in recovery to start to become a productive part of the community that that the community, they'll no longer say, not in my neighborhood. We don't want you in my neighborhood, but we'll become neighbors that you'll want to have, because we will be doing types of community service projects and empowering people.
Listen, folks out
that
there,
answer?
listening to this program, I know you know somebody that's in recovery, somebody that OD'd, somebody that lost one of their loved ones. If you're in a position, it's like everything else. You need money in order to operate. These people don't get paid. John doesn't get paid to be coaching somebody. Pat doesn't do it. I don't, and Melissa don't. But you have to pay the heat. You have to pay the
Rent.
the rent and stuff like that in order for people to go someplace. So just look into your heart and say, if you can donate something in memory of your loved one or somebody to help, donate something. I don't care if it's $5 or $100 or anything.
And if they'd like to hear about our plan, they can come to 122 Market Street Monday through Friday. Currently, we're there just organizing. We'll be starting to roll out more programs as we lead volunteers become available, and come and hear about our plan and talk to us.
Melissa has worked on this, has been her sort of baby from the beginning, and
It's been many years
many
in the
years,
coming.
many years in the coming, and a lot of talk and the over the number of years, just talk and plans. But now it's in an implement stage, and she's implementing it. She needs help.
It won't
And
be perfect.
The organization needs help, and talking about that, Pat. With the budget in the state, how are we doing on that?
Yeah, I was up there. The governor just did a press release. And one of the issues is substance misuse funding. John had mentioned the liquor commission, and there's a set aside of 5 to 8% for this sort of help that has been just going into the general fund. So there's a battle ahead. We're certainly ready for the battle. I know where my heart is, and I'm going to continue the fight.
Well, I do want to thank Melissa for coming here and sharing us, and Pat Long sharing us and give us the insight. And John, your insight of being a recovery coach, I believe that's what they call you, right? And these people do this for nothing. They help people. They help another human being. To save their life, I think, is greater than anything, So anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming.
Thank you.
And folks,
Thanks,
please get in contact with Melissa, and we'll go from there. We need all the help we can in order to try to solve this problem of addiction and recovery to people that are needed in our community. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Mike.